What's good, YouTube fam? It's your boy Tony, aka the Senator of Chaos and Controversy, and I was asked this question, and I get asked many questions many times over, and it's crazy that this question was brought to my attention because I have asked this many times over, especially when I've had my own personal interactions with police, and it is understood that they hold the title law enforcement, which means they are out there to enforce laws. Ironically and hypocritically, and funny in its own content context, is that laws that they enforce, they have not gone to school to study law. They've only done what, so many months of training to learn how to, you know, deal with the public, so to speak, which is horrible. They got to wear many hats. They don't know how to deal with people with mental issues, autistic people, people who are deaf and can't hear, and their immediate responses to engage with them physically. You know, there's zero tolerance, there's zero patience, there's no empathy, there's no understanding, but all that has to be awarded to them as far as understanding goes. But when it comes to us, all that shit's out the fucking door. Um, but the one thing that I must say is kind of funny is that none of us go to school to learn the things necessary to apply to our day in and day out uh, ways of how we go about living our lives. Okay? None of which they teach us for the most part benefits us in life. Like, I know one argument was said that they don't teach us how to be entrepreneurs or our own boss. We just is taught how to be employees to an employer, which is crazy. Okay? We're cattle basically. Just a number, a statistic that's divided in certain groups and categories and checkoff boxes and stuff like that. Okay? And I understand that. You know, it's hard not to notice or not take any kind of notice. But they don't teach us anything in regards to finances, how to invest, anything having to do with like Wall Street or whatever, which is big, I guess. Um, how to create our own businesses, you know, and of course, you know, you have to understand math and economics and stuff of that nature. But also, what they don't teach us is law. There are so many laws that's applied to this country that is utterly ridiculous. But we, not going to school to know what laws that we are supposed to be fully aware of, we're supposed to know. And this is where police take advantage of us because we are ignorant of the law. And they'll tell you ignorance of the law is no excuse. And that right there, within that arrogant tone and that condescending context, it is just baffling to me. So we already know where the attitude between how they think of us versus where they stand. Okay? So that gives them any reason or excuse to go about violating our rights. Because to those that are pro-police, to the bootlickers, to anyone else that is back to blue or whatever the case may be, that's your right, you know. And within reason, I would agree. Within reason, I will agree. But to the extent, and that's as far as it goes, sometimes you have to understand where our freedoms are being compromised. Okay? Because everybody wants to like get on that hashtag and that bumper sticker slogan of America, land of the free, to an extent, with stipulations, with rules that are ridiculous. But a lot of it, many of us know it's to generate revenue for the towns, the states, the cities, or certain jurisdictions, or whatever the case may be. We understand that. We're not fooled. You can, and no matter how you package it and present it and put it before us, we all know it's to extort money out the civilians, as if taxes wasn't enough. Okay. So when you have all these citations, these tickets, or having to go to court for this or go to court for that, it is, and they'll dress it up as, well, it's for your safety. You're not concerned for our safety if we're at the mercy of you getting our asses whooped or getting killed. So the concern for our safety is not on your top priority list, not at all. Okay? And there's more than just a couple of examples that can be references to be presented as validation. Okay? But here's the thing that I find kind of funny. I've seen some videos because there are a slew of videos. So when you want to compromise all of where you can just go see for yourself, to just say isolated incidences, that is no longer equivalent to even being justifiable. Okay? So it's funny when you have these law enforcement officers whose duties and jobs it is to enforce the law, but most of them don't even know why they pull you over or what to write the ticket out for you to have to go to court to like plead your case and fight it or whatever the case may be, because they have to go back to their vehicle, look stuff up on the computer, call up headquarters, talk to their chief, say, hey, I put them on, I don't know what to do. Then they have to go in the book and look it up and stuff so they can know what the appropriate code or citation that they have to cite you for to give you a ticket. And then on top of that, if you don't sign it, and this is the thing, they tell you if you don't sign a ticket, you're going to jail. How you going to? And then go. Were you persuaded by any way? Were you how should I, what's the word? Persuaded or threatened in any way to agree to this or whatever? Hell yeah, because I was threatened with my freedom being taken away and being thrown in jail if I didn't sign a fucking ticket. Because that's the first thing they tell you. And then don't get me going with the ID. Now, for me personally, I don't see the big deal, but I understand where people's rights and where they stand on the ID goes. I don't have to show you ID if I don't have to. If it's not a state requirement to say, hey, by law, you have to show an officer your ID, and it's not in the law, then if you know that, you don't have to show the officer that. Because it's not law. See, people need to understand what is for and what's against them. Okay? Now, when you get these arrogant cops, these officers, these police, that come across a lawyer who has went to school, who have put in the time to study law, who had to go take and pass the bar exam, I believe that the credibility will fall solely and more so in their favor than an officer who don't know shit about the law. They just know enough to fuck with you. And hope that you're ignorant enough not to know what your rights are. I'm just saying. So, yeah, that was the question that was asked of me. What do you think about the quote-unquote ignorance of the law statement that cops give civilians when they insert themselves into people's lives and stuff? Because it's like I tell people all the time, you know, like any person that lives their life and tries to live their life in peace, uninterrupted, without drama, without conflict, without anything of that sort, and they just want to be just left alone. But then if you don't have like thugs, gangs, ignorant ass people, and then when you got those type of elements that people have to deal with, then you got law enforcement to join in on the nonsense. Okay? And it's like I said, most of the times, many people are minding their own business. And then they get to, hey, you over there, Come here. Let me talk to you. For what reason? I committed no crime. You just saw me walking. What is the reason, the legitimate reason why I have to engage you in a conversation? I have the right to remain silent. I don't have to talk to you. But because you suggested it to where now you're telling somebody, one grown adult to another, but because you feel that you're in a position of authority, it's your way or the highway. No, 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 no. And then you have this attitude where people have to respect you because you're in uniform, because you have the badge. But you forget about the oath that you took, because you don't practice that. None whatsoever. And being that many law enforcement officers have stated that they are not here to protect and serve, and they said that, you know, basically to make a point, to say we're not here for your convenience. So basically, if you're not calling them, if there is a crime being committed, if there's a crime taking place, if there's a domestic that has just unfolded or whatever the case may be, if somebody's getting shot, robbed, you know, whatever I would consider a criminal act that's worth their attention and their presence, they're just responding to that. Where they're proactive at is when they deal with you on traffic stops, or if you're minding your own business, or if they assume that you're a person of interest, then they feel they have the right to engage you. And if you don't want to be bothered, you know, because many people, like, if they're dealing with enough stuff on their plate day in and day out, and if they got their own stresses, the last thing they want to do is having to entertain a cop stopping them, asking them some juvenile questions, making assumptions on where they're coming from, or where they're going, what are they doing, why are you in this neighborhood, what are you doing over here, do you have a job, where were you at this particular time. Meanwhile, you could be like trying to rush home to get to your fucking wife or your girlfriend because they have to go to work. So as soon as you get off your shift, you have to immediately go home to take care of your kids, your family and stuff, so that the other parent could, you know, go to their job. But meanwhile, they gotta say, oh, I couldn't make it to work on time because my husband was stopped by an officer asking him some bullshit questions. So that made me late. Do you think the fucking employer cares that the fucking cop wanted to fucking intervene and stop your boyfriend or husband from making it to home? And this is what I be talking about. We're supposed to be sympathetic of officers and where they stand and their safety and their livelihood goes and stuff like that. But do they have that same concern for us? No, they don't. Do they have the same consideration for us? No, they don't. But when you challenge that, oh, you have no right to. It's have your day in court, fight it in court. But 9 times out of 10, how can you fight things in court if the court is designed to favor the officers and not you? And then you have to come out of your pocket to pay these expensive ass attorney fees that they know that you cannot afford, unless you have a hell of a good job or if you have some particular status. So of course they prey upon the poor because they know they 9 times out of 10 they don't have a leg to stand on. And that has been duly noted. So again, where common sense need to come into play, where people need to take notice and acknowledge certain things for what it is and stop just being stupid on their own accord. I'm just saying. But tell me what you think. Please like, share, and subscribe. Yeah. Anyway, that's all I got. I gotta go run in real quick and See if my son is awake. Yeah. Daddy duty is never but love my son. Wouldn't trade nothing in the world. Let's just hope he is able to live his life without any interruptions.